Welcome to today's conversation. Today I'm going to dive into the trending trend whereby African Americans are relocating from Europe, US and deciding to settle here in Kenya. We're gonna discuss the reason as to why they are relocating to Kenya. This is a phenomenon referred as Black Seat, whereby African Americans are deciding to ditch everything from the West and settling here in Kenya. I don't know the reason as to why, but that's why we are here, me and my guest. We get to dive in and get to discuss that. Is it because the Trump administration is trying to crack down on ethnicity? Is it economic, or is it a spiritual journey they are on? So that is going to be answered through this conversation. With me here today, I'm seated down with a 26-year-old young man who has decided, you know what, let me leave everything from the West or the flashy life from Las Vegas and the high skyscrapers on New York, and I found myself with the skyscrapers and the life of Nairobi. So as young as 26, as old as 70 years old, all of them are settling here in Kenya. So let me introduce my guest, and we get to dive into this conversation. How are you, sir?
I'm well. How are you? And how are you?
Thank you so much for honoring my request, and introduce yourself.
Thank you for reaching out. My name is Kenyon, McElway, MC capital ELWAY. Like you said, I'm 26. I moved out here when I was 25. I've been here going on 4 months, and I'm obviously building a compound. If you've seen any other interviews, out in the countryside. So right now I'm staying in around Nairobi, particularly in Kiambu County.
Kiambu, you decided to go way out of Nairobi. You want to stay in another county?
Yeah, it's cheaper. It's more affordable.
It's more affordable.
Yeah, and I like the young crowd. You know, you're more, you seem more integrated into the community.
Yeah. So, what was the reason as to why you decided, you know what, with my young age, let me just relocate to Kenya? And why Kenya?
To be honest, I've said this before, but I'm sure that Kenya must have been the Most High speaking to me, because I looked at all the different countries in sub-Saharan Africa, and I saw more potential in other countries because they were less known than even Kenya. Kenya is becoming trendy now. So, you know, Zambia, Mozambique, Botswana, countries like that, those seem like, you know, more open playing fields, places you can go, they're less of a population, they're not as dense. And I don't know what the immigration is there compared to here, but I would imagine if it's any easier, that'd probably be a better place to be. But I ultimately landed here after just, again, praying and seeking guidance. And it could be for some particular purpose, maybe to help others get here, because I think that this could really be the tip of the iceberg. I see this maybe being the start of many diasporans coming, but it'll trickle into other countries. I think Kenya is probably the beginning of this, and then it'll continue to go southward until you hit maybe even South Africa, even though, like I said, people are coming.
Okay. Was Kenya your first choice when you were doing your research on relocating, or you had something else in mind? Because the 2022, 2023, there was this thing going on whereby there was the Ghana thing, where it was called the year of return. I think you had seen that, and you decided, will I go to West Africa or should I settle in East Africa?
Yeah, it didn't really appeal to me too much. I've heard good things about Ghana, but I also have heard, you know, that program was very limited. It wasn't really fully fleshed out, so people have had issues with it. Two, I didn't really want to go back to the coast where my ancestors were taken from. I think, and then this kind of ties back into my faith and where I'm at, and then obviously studying history. That's where we were collected from. I don't think that's where we initially were, and that just wasn't, to me, the solution or the answer. I wanted to sort of get back to the cradle of humanity. I wanted to get it back to the origin and the root of things, and that's more eastward here, Tanzania, elsewhere, because they speak better English here.
Oh, okay. Because they say this Kenya is termed as the cradle of humankind.
True.
Because on the northern part of our country, we definitely found the full skeleton of a human being. A 12-year-old boy was discovered by Dr. Luki. So I don't know if you have heard about it, but maybe you, as the time goes by, you learn about it. So was it like the homecoming? Was it spiritual to you, or you were like, okay, this is just where I'm going to settle?
Definitely spiritual. Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that?
Well, I'm a believer, so I'm a believer, but I'm also invested in the identity factor. I think obviously being born again, no matter who you are, where you come from, is the main thing. But there's also all the rest of the Bible. And when I think about restoration, repatriation, immigration, integration, when I think about all this stuff, and I read about the people in the scriptures will be scattered, and then a remnant regathered. I see that in us, and I see that happening, even though we have different terms and classifications for what's going on. African Americans relocating.
Wow.
I see it as a much deeper thing than something at the surface level, as it just being politics or people wanting to find a new start. Again, people come here for different reasons. So I'm not saying everybody is here for a deeply spiritual purpose, but again, like gravity, what goes up comes down. People have something inside of them that's moving them, and they're ending up here.
Wow.
So I think that, like I said, that speaks for itself in terms of
spirituality and something like that. How did your family or community respond when you decided, when you told them that, you know what, I'll be relocating to Kenya or Africa at a young age?
Yeah. So I've always been, like, when I was back in the States, pretty disciplined, financially. And the U.S. is very isolated. So you're hustling and you're working to live. So I mean, people knew that I was focused when I got my condo, my first home in 22. People knew that I was, focused when I started remodeling it, and I got a new, I've always been obviously a doer. So people knew me as that, but when I said I was gonna leave the country, I think that was something where they weren't as surprised it being me saying I'm gonna do something else. And a lot of them were very encouraging. Although I don't know if they could imagine themselves doing it for different reasons. So it was, and me being faithful and willfully naive, I'm expecting, okay, you guys can come too. Yeah, and I'll be there, and I come. And a lot of them haven't even reached back out. So as far as how they responded, mostly positive and very encouraging. I didn't leave spiteful. I didn't leave saying I hated here, and I may have thought some of that, but I didn't voice all that to make them feel bad about being there. I just told them I wanted to, move, and this is where I believe I should go, and this is my plan, and this is how I'm going to sustain life here. And like step by step, things were unfolding, have been unfolding, and working out. Hasn't been easy, but things have been working. So I believe that's the grace of the Most High.
Yeah. When you say yes, you're adapting. Yes, things hasn't been. You're coming from a different geographical and also different way of thinking.
True.
Yeah. So what was your how were you welcomed, or how were you embraced when you came and started integrating, with our society here in Kenya?
And the people are wonderful. They feel like family. A lot of them look like you. And again, the willingness to help made it easier. I would say, as far as difficulties, it's like learning curves. You got to make sure you're asking a lot of questions, because things that you might think, for example, would be cheap and affordable, when you're given a price here, that could still be expensive. And you say, oh, that's only $600.
Only $600.
And really, a local would only be paying $300 or $350 or less. So you have to be, very discerning, and you got to ask questions. And maybe you know people here, which you can get to know people here when you get here, depending on the personality you have and the ambition and the willingness you have to meet new people. They can help you. Like I said, they've been helpful. But learning curves like that, learning how not to do what they call mzungo.
For the white person.
Yeah. and for us, I don't know what it's called, but they'll try that on YouTube when they hear your accent. As far as things like living, when you get here, I would highly recommend finding somewhere to live right away. Don't stay at an Airbnb or a hotel for too long. Connect with somebody who can help you find an apartment, maybe even before you come. That's what I do with my services.
That's
so when
nice.
people come, I have clients coming tonight. I got to get them from the airport.
Wow.
I'll be moving them into their apartment. They haven't even been here yet. And that's some of the mitigation I'm doing to make it easier for people to come. Making sure you know what kind of permit you need to legally work here. If you want to start a business, you have to have a permit depending on what kind of business you're doing and who you're doing business with. All of that is the stuff that I'm here, and I feel like God has put me in a position to do to help others who want to come, so that they don't go through, like I said, the same learning curves.
Yeah.
In a way where they waste money and time.
So you want to make
it,
you want to make it easier for them.
Yeah.
And also try to show them that yes. So you want to make it easier for them and show them yes, I have done it, and you can also do it on an easier way since you there's someone who has already shown you the path.
Right. Exactly.
So have you, since I think you relocated here 2024, that is 1 year?
Nope. So I got here in April.
Oh, April.
Yeah,
Okay.
it'll be August, and so I started taking 4 months.
4 months.
Yeah.
So do you feel more understood here than back home?
That's a good question. Do I feel more understood? Yes, in certain ways. Because here you don't necessarily feel prejudged. Like I said, we all look alike. We all have even similar taste in some aspects. Like I got here and they had Tabasco on all the tables. I said, I love Tabasco. This is the condiment of choice here. When you're looking for people to reason with, people here are more reasonable. In America, it's very systematic, it's very cutthroat, and when you don't blend in terms of you don't speak like, at the very least, or speak like and also look like the mass population, if you know what I mean, that's when it becomes difficult. It can become difficult unless you're dealing with someone who is what we would consider overly compassionate, but compassionate, to do things like business and to get help if you need it, or guidance or advice. Very divided up and split up by cultures and people groups. Very tribal, even more so in Africa in a way, if you think about it. So, and they would call it racism, and I could use that term too. But yeah, in some ways I do feel more understood here. In terms of not being as understood, I think because I come from a different system, like a more capitalist society, where it's not as person-to-person business oriented because you have big corporations. I think in that sense, people in America would understand me more, despite where their background is, because they live in the same system.
Wow.
But on a personal level, I feel more understood and embraced here.
Yeah. Wow. When there is something that you have said in between the sentences, and I didn't want to cut you short. I wanted to ask you, like, what is your take on how the administration back in the US is cracking down on, the different ethnicities?
I have I'm not completely disconnected. I know what's going on. I'm not like a willfully ignorant person. As far as my personal, or I guess maybe let's be more objective. As far as my view on what he's doing, I believe him and the people who work in his administration, they believe in what they're doing. I can respect that about any person when they believe in whatever they're doing. In terms of immigration and what some people would claim he's trying to turn America into, I can see that thought line, because you got to remember that most countries are full of, they're homogenous. America, I call it Babylon, right? Not just because of biblical interpretations, but because of the fact that, like the last two Babylons, it's a melting pot. A melting pot of different people and culture groups, right? Or people groups and cultures, right? But they're not mixing, as you can see. So he's saying, well, okay, this isn't working unless you want to conform and assimilate to the American way of life. We don't necessarily want you here, if you're un-American, right? So, the immigration thing is more so geared towards, I believe they're claiming like illegal immigrants and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then he's banning other countries from even coming in. Maybe if they're Muslim nationalist type countries, or I think that's him trying to maybe unbabble the Babylon.
Oof.
You know, which is ultimately turn the country back into probably what it was a few hundred years ago.
300 years ago, yeah.
Although my take on it is, and this is again for those who can, and for those who have enough faith and discernment to see what's going on, don't fight to be somewhere you're not wanted.
Don't fight.
Yeah, don't fight
to be someone you're not wanted.
No, seek
your path.
Seek to go somewhere where you're treated
more
better.
More accepted.
And this is one of many places I believe you will be. And even if you are not necessarily a part of the diaspora, let's just say you're a Caucasian and you have Irish roots, why not try visiting Ireland and seeing what it's like?
And see what it has to offer.
Those people, you know, will embrace you. They'll have that natural affinity towards you. If you are from a country in Southeast Asia and you're going there for opportunities, if you can seize those opportunities, make financial gains, reinvest it back home, and then at some point be ready to go home. I don't think America or that country, you see, even it's taboo to talk about the country in a certain way.
I
don't think they have too many great and glorious days ahead of them. And I think, like I said, whether a person is gospel oriented and deeply spiritual, or they're just statistical and factual and opinionated, you should be able to see it if you're not completely distracted by the entertainment and the sports and all the stuff they put in front of you to keep you off of those more serious things. Yeah.
So that means right now, coming here and settling for the few months you have been here, your identity has shifted. You don't need to fight with your identity when you're back home. So that's none of your concern when you're around here.
Yeah, I don't have to work as hard for people to
value you.
Yeah, to make a good impression. And not to say I had to work extra hard there. I know how to communicate. I'm personable. I'm willing to meet someone past their lack of sympathy. I'm willing to be over sympathetic. Basically, I'm willing to go past the middle ground to reach into somebody else's world and connect with them, and then I'll pull them back to the middle. But to me, at some point, I'm like, why am I working extra hard just to get the bare minimum respect? It's ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
And then honestly, there are times you do that, and because it's not in their heart to want to accept you still, they can flip on you in a minute.
Like this.
And that's just not, for me, sustainable as far as relationships.
Yeah, concerned.
Yeah.
So on that note, how has Kenyan perceived you as an African American? Are there any cultural misunderstanding?
Yeah, a lot of the people I meet here, not all of them, but a lot of the young people, more in that group,
are more open.
Well, what I'm gonna say is a lot of them in the younger group, they sort of aspire to be where I left, right? So they look at me like, oh, what's it like? And they have sort of I would say maybe a bit of a fantasy of what it's like.
Fantasy of
I'm like, look, if you subtract the materialism and the money, this place is the place to be. And if, like I said, if something happens, like the economy collapses, the dollar falls, or something affects that economy in a way where it's not able to be recovered. World events, stuff people don't want to talk about or look at, even though there's wars happening all over and things are rising, tensions are rising. The last place you're going to want to be is in the isolation of America, where people have guns and people are possessive and people don't want to help you. That's the last place you want to be stuck.
Yeah, when you talk about that, there is something that has come into my mind, being like, there is the fight between African Americans and African Africans who were living there. Especially on the 1st of August, I've seen something going on online that African Americans, they're going to boycott all African businesses. What kind of society is that?
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I think a lot of that is systematically divisive. A lot of us don't know our history. And I'm not saying that everybody in Africa is your relative. I would point out particularly the more Bantu rooted tribes. Although a lot of the tribes are intermingled. A lot of people
here we have so many.
A lot of times it's kind of one and the same. Whether you talk about the Nilotic, the Kushite, or the Bantu tribes, but primarily the Bantu tribes, those Niger Congo tribes, we share the same DNA. That's why we look the same. But you want to argue about where your heritage and where your roots are and where you started, I think that's nonsense. ultimately, both of you in different ways are resented and exploited and hated and not accepted in the world the way that the system is set up today. And what I find is if more of my people over in the West were willing, with the money and the understanding of that system that we have, to come over here and reinvest, and to connect with our brethren here who have obviously the resourcefulness and the understanding of the lay of the land. If we were to come back together, the faith of the people here and the knowledge of the people there put together as one would completely eclipse the rest of the world. If we could stay humble and selfish and willing to help each other out, so that we can all be lifted up. If everybody wins in the situation among ourselves, you wouldn't have to deal with a lot of that. But they don't want that. So
they don't want that.
Any type of conflict that can be stirred up to keep us divided, whether it's over there or over here, they're gonna do that, and they've been doing it for a very long time.
Yeah, so that you can be, you run away from the reality and concentrate more on the conflict that is happening.
Exactly.
So, on that note, I would want you to let the Africans who have the aspiration to go to where you left, what is this phrase or narrative whereby we are told that that is the land of the dream, that is the American dream. I would want you to elaborate and get them, help them understand what does that mean.
Basically, what would I say to them if 100 of them were sitting in front of me who wanted to go? What would I say to them right now?
Yeah. What would? Yeah.
As many of you who love the Messiah, who are, again, they love Jesus. Everybody loves Jesus here, right? Okay, let me hold you to that conviction. And you can't serve God and money. That land is the land of money, which is what they call opportunity. But at the expense of what it takes to make it there, you do run the risk of losing your soul. Go back if you really have this urge in you, like you feel like the Father's leading you. You go back and try to make it, but don't forget about this place. This is the place that you're going to want to be in the future. Things are flowing this way. Things are not flowing that way. People are leaving the West. People are leaving these countries, and they're not talking about it on the news because they don't want you to be aware. Because then you would take certain actions, and the more money and
start flowing and
the
energy
West, it flows,
and the brain,
they're not going to be at an advantage with that. I really don't think it's worth, and again, I'm not really that connected with like what young people are connected with. I'm an old soul, but I know that if you can seize your opportunities here. I know opportunity is hard to come by for a lot of people here, but if you could pray and push and have some faith and work towards something, take actionable steps, whether it's business or here's the other thing I wanted to point this out. A lot of people I've met, it's like money, wealth. It's more so seems like it's wrapped up in what you earn versus what you own, because a lot of people in Nairobi, they have land and ownership back in the countrysides, in the cities, in the towns that they come from, but they rush to the cities like Nairobi that are more progressive and westernized to make money, to make a certain type of living. I see this as a big error, because I know that it could be difficult and this can be more attractive, but really and truly your wealth and your resources, parents, don't push your kids out. It's on that farm, it's in those acres that you have. Mutabis, those little small homes. The
small homes.
Yeah, what do they call it? We call them tiny homes in the U.S., but somebody he gave me a name, what they're called. Somebody knows what they're called. Leave in the comments.
Yeah, someone who knows, you can tell us. Yeah.
I mean, investing in building homes like that, having that home base. I know some people come to the city to work to send money back home. I think that's more of a right mentality, but not, the value is in the stuff that you have, the stuff that's passed down to you generation to generation. That's the future. I mean, I'm telling you, when you subtract the system that we're trying to live in, where you're constantly paying rent and paying bills and trying to own things, and versus having experiences and then living simply. When you subtract that element, I don't see the appeal of the American way of life. I don't see the appeal of even the lifestyle of living in Nairobi. More or less, a lot of the people I see who come over here, they just leave Atlanta or Houston or some big city in America to come in Nairobi and experience the same type of life. But I'm like, but once they get tired of that and Nairobi turns into Atlanta or Houston, you're gonna be looking to leave there too.
Of course.
And you're gonna go to the next country.
The next country, or decide, okay, and maybe at that time when you're getting to that point, maybe the countryside, it will now be
developed. This is what I'm saying. Get out ahead of it. Yeah. It was that one. I mean, the one time I actually had a chance to speak to other diasporans from the U.S. It was in the group chat, and I mentioned what I was doing early on before the interviews and that kind of thing. And a lot of them cast a lot of shade and doubt on it, talking about scams and this and that. Didn't ask me how I did it or nothing. But then when Khalees, a celebrity who they, I don't know what it is about us and worshiping celebrity, she does it and buys 300 acres. Now they're asking questions. I wonder how she did it. I wonder what she had to do to get that. And I'm just like, this is why we can't get ahead.
Basically, this is what I was talking about. This is what I've been telling you about.
Yeah.
And whenever a celebrity does that, they'll be like, oh, now this is the real deal. But when
land's already appreciated. Now, again, and it's going to be a matter of time as more people come over here and people go to actually acquire properties out there because they don't want to live the city life. And this is the closest thing to a suburb or a community or a countryside that they can get in and get some peace and some quiet and some serenity. They're going to be saying, it's too expensive. But as like somebody came along and told you could try this. But because you let fear steer you away from it and you projected insecurities onto the people doing it, saying it wasn't wise or whatever, you could have actually done your own due diligence, sought the connections that would have encouraged you in this direction, and just, like I said, step by step, systematically work towards ownership. Yeah. Not everything is a scam. I think most people who get scammed are people who don't study and prepare and seek out the right resources channels, or people. Yeah, exactly. It's not. If you go to a company that's been reputable for 5 or 6 years, they can't sell fake title deeds for 5 or 6 years and still be in business. Yeah. So I again, it's all love, but I do think for the vigilant and the discerning and the wise ones, they're the ones that are going to get out ahead of this. And then I really, like I said, Kenya to me is just the forefront. It's the doorway. It's the entry into the sub-Sahara. It's going to continue to flow downstream into these other countries as those get more exposure on social media. Botswana, Lusaka, Zambia, outside of Lusaka. You're going to have all these other landlocked countries and the coastal ones too. Yeah. They're going to stick out to people.
Because right now, when you mention that, it's like the gateway to maybe Africa or maybe East Africa as per se. Because right now, by December 2026, half of the UN staffs are around 2,000. Now they will be residing here in Kenya.
Gigiri, right over
here in Gigiri, because I think they are bringing some offices like United Women's, UNFPA, things like that. So I think if you start seeing such big corporations bringing the offices here, that means there is something that is going on here in Kenya, and now we are going to start seeing a huge influx of expatriates trying to, access here and stay here.
The truth is that, like I said, the problem that we have, a lot of us, is idolatry. If a celebrity's not doing it, we're a white person.
Hey,
you can't trust it. It could be illegitimate.
Yeah, you may
but
not.
Again, I agree with you. You're right, because there definitely is an influx. There's activity here. There's development here. Every time you drive over down, you see mid-rises, high-rises, apartment buildings popping up. You see cranes in the sky. You see scaffolding. I mean, again, the infrastructure is not going to be on the same level as Beverly Hills,
of course,
or something.
We're getting there.
Yeah, and to me, honestly, the infrastructure is not everything to me. Like I said, I'm not a city guy. I can appreciate the amenities that are here, but my aspiration is just a self-sufficient, simple life, and out in the country, just among a community of like-minded people.
Yeah, you're seeking simple life and freedom.
True. Yeah.
So on that note, have you built a community of fellow African Americans here? Or?
Very small. I mean, I've met some people. Like I said, I met a lot of people since I've been here, but it's the select few.
Oh
who are sort of thinking in the same direction as me.
Who align with
the majority to me are they're more like city people. They're more modern minded.
They don't buy this aspect of living in the countryside.
Even if they do, they're not. I don't think they're as serious. No, I don't mean that to chat shit. I'm just saying, when you talk to somebody about anything, right? And they don't even really get all the information. You're just introducing an idea, but they make a lot of excuses, or they don't get back to you. That kind of thing. It's not as high of a priority. Like if your number one priority in life is something, is going to be evident because that's the number one thing you're doing and focused on, right? If it's like feeding your children, it's evident that their priority is feeding their children because that's the one thing that they're concentrated on doing above everything else, right? So people I've met, they say they're interested, but every time I run into them or see them, they're doing something completely drastically different.
Yes.
I don't think they're that serious. To me, faith is evident through your works. Not,
of course,
not just saying something,
just
and there's no reflective action to correspond with what you're saying.
Yes.
So,
wow. So has the Kenyan community played a role in you settling here in Kenya?
One more time with your question. I didn't hear the last part.
I said, has the Kenyan community played a huge role on your settlement here in Kenya?
Yeah, they played a huge role in the settlement. Yeah, because I met a lot of wonderful people in the process. The people here are like second to none. I love I mean, obviously you're gonna always have people who are not as honest and direct and straightforward. And even those people could be at a stage in life where they just haven't got to that point. So I don't even judge them, but I'm just saying in general, my experiences with the people here, the way that they're willing to help me and to treat me through the things that they do consistently, like family, and like, I feel loved. When I had to find an apartment, someone here at this place where I was staying temporarily, she went with me with the agent to find an apartment. We went to 8 or 9 apartments all around town until we found the one I wanted, and I secured that apartment. When I needed to furnish it, I had help getting it furnished. When I needed to find a good place to get food that wasn't going to be $1,200 or $1,500, or when I wasn't cooking, somebody showed me how this worked. I mean, there's and it wasn't like I had to try so hard. I didn't feel like I had to go beyond myself or step out of my grace to appeal to them, to get their acceptance and then to get their help. It was just an openness and a willingness that was, like, to me, unparalleled to anything I'd ever experienced back in the U.S. So, although I didn't necessarily need as much help in the U.S. because that's where you're born and raised and you got parents, but I'm just saying, as you become an adult, you start to realize the value of dealing with real people. So, and there are real good people here. Yeah, definitely.
How would you compare social life here in Kenya and back home?
It's definitely head and shoulders above what you would get in the U.S. Again, when it's a me mentality and culture, and it's about obtaining things, it's a lot more usury. I mean, here people actually need each other, right? And a lot is because, not to glorify the conditions here when it comes to like certain opportunities, but I will say people having to rely on each other and have relationships to survive has sustained. There's a couple of things that have sustained the culture, has sustained the community and the connection and the talking to each other face to face and having to do business because you need to do business with each other to survive. The other thing I would say is because it's not full of corporations. You don't see McDonald's and Wendy's and Taco Bell up and down the streets. You've got independent restaurants and businesses all up and down the streets. Because there's no Home Depot and Lowe's, you have more opportunities for contracting work, to build things. You have more places to sell supplies and materials to build homes. Because you don't have so many big corporations running the country, people can own their own stuff and work, and it's a more business oriented place versus when you're, like I said, in America, most places you drive past, you're gonna see a big parking lot, and then you're gonna see a strip mall of department stores, and you either work for one of those big department stores, or you're doing something maybe in the city, and of course it depends on your class, obviously, how much education you have and what you're pursuing, but there's a lot less opportunity for business because you're competing with big business,
big corporations.
And the other thing too, when you're competing with like big businesses, it wasn't always like that. But once you take away once you add a Walmart, Walmart is a big store, and the Walmart has the bakery, it has the meat section. None of this food, by the way, is fresh, by the way, but that's just another conversation. Once you have the bakery section, the meat market, the place you can buy goods, the place you can even get your pills, like if you go to pharmacies, all that is in one place.
In one place, yes.
The independent pharmacy, that's the only one I would say, okay, that's good. The independent pharmacy disappears because they can't compete with Walmart in the convenience.
Yes.
The butchery, the bakery, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that happened. And now we're at a point where, like I said, you're trying to do any of those. I mean, this sounds like a foreign concept here because you got butcheries and bakeries everywhere where you get fresh food. And
Yeah.
But over there, that's not something that people are necessarily familiar with because of the fact that the country is what it is now. It's like a big shopping center.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Except only a few people own the businesses, and everybody else works up under them.
Yeah.
And there's a lack of pride and integrity and desire to want to work. A lot of times, you really got to go above and beyond and be motivated because ultimately, it's not you working to, build your family's business. You're working to make someone rich who you will never meet.
Yeah, you make the rich continue being rich, and you are getting maybe the bare minimum or something of the sort. Yeah. So on that note, when it comes to business and opportunities, what some of the opportunities or entrepreneurial chances or opportunities you have found here in Kenya?
I think one of them would be for people who come, and again, it always comes down to the individual.
Yes.
Because like-minded people are going to connect, right? But consultations, if you're helping the next person come. Sales commission off of helping people here do business.
Yes.
And then even when it comes to people who have these exciting adventures in lives who are into the media world, you can get monetized by documenting your experiences and put them on social media.
Yes.
Now, as far as other businesses that I've seen other people do, they open restaurants. All right. Again, there's more opportunities for that because you're not competing with as many big franchises. So if you sell good food and you get the word out, people will come. And especially when you're a foreigner, you're importing another type of cuisine like Nairobi and Roslyn Mall, right? Roslyn Riviera Mall. You could come here, and if you already have certain credentials and you practice something like law or something, you could come here and you could be an advocate or you could do certain law.
Yeah.
Obviously, you want to make sure you have the right permits and things like that, like a Class M permit. That's what I would be operating on. But when you're talking about other things that you could be doing, you could be working for a religious organization, you could do nonprofit work, you could do charities, you could do mining. There are a lot of people here looking for help and expertise in mining, and honestly, it seems like right now, because it's not something we're really heavily pursuing, the Chinese and people like that are coming and they're mining in the Mara. And like I said, certain conversations, like the conversation we're having, could branch off into other conversations. But for the sake of staying on point, there's plenty of opportunity here, but you got to look for it. It's going to be a hustle.
Yeah, you have to be open-minded and get to learn how the system works and how things are done here. So that's why I think you touched it a little bit, but I also wanted to ask you, like, if there's someone is coming like to the country tomorrow, what are some of the legal what do we call it? The legal systemic barriers that you're supposed to be.
Unfortunately, it's not as because it's not as regulated here at every. I mean, there's a bit more freedom, but because there's so many things that are not structured and streamlined in terms of getting certain paperwork through, doing certain filings, it's like a who do you know kind of thing. And I hate that about this. That's the one thing that's systematic right about this versus something else where it's just works. Like I said, my clients are coming tonight. The first thing I'm going to be doing once I get them settled is I'm going to be helping them get to the right advocate. To figure out within the first few days, let alone the first week, what kind of permit. All right, and then obviously when we get to the land, there's some other things I want to make sure they're versed in. I'm not going to let them waste a lot of time and make unnecessary steps and spend unnecessary amounts of money.
Go in circles.
They're gonna,
and lose money.
No. They're going to come in the first week. I'm going to make sure they have the things that they need in order so that they're moving in the right direction, and opportunities are there for them to continue to have income. Although some people come and they keep properties in the States, so they have the passive income. There's a lot of ways to go about it. That's why I always say pray, because some people I don't think are even suited to even try. Other people I just don't think they're built for it. But the ones who have that urge and that desire, I think that's something you should lean into. But like I said, don't completely abandon the aspect of planning and logistics. But the systems here, that's the one thing I would say, you know, knowing people who can expedite your permits and stuff, that's too much. What I did, what I attempted to do is, I know some people in the government, I submitted a proposal, and it was a proposal basically incentivizing getting the diasporans back here. I said, make it more easy for people to come.
Yes.
By having a special permit that you issue to them when they get here, not when they wait. The government can be charging them. They can get paid per head, so the government gets help. And then you incentivize them if they start businesses. They have to hire 50% Kenyans up to this many employees. So now you're helping boost the economy. And then you have to do business with the Kenyan businesses. Now you help boost Kenyan businesses. And then if you have diaspora or people who want to come here who are not a part of the diaspora, they have to be sponsored by Kenyans. So now if he's an Uber driver or he works at a firm, he can name his price and say, if you want to come here, I'll sponsor you, and you have all these same benefits, but this is how much it'll cost. That right there alone would be something to help boost the economy, but I couldn't get it to the right people. Got it to the guy. He was impressed by the proposal. I wrote it up. I had a long, two-sided piece of paper with it with bullet points, and it never went anywhere. And I just thought, well, at least now when I do consultations, I have a clear conscience, because at least I tried to make it so that it wouldn't have to go through me or the next person for so many things to get figured out for somebody coming in here who's new and doesn't know how this works. But you know, because trying to find the right people to get stuff like that into their hands. It can be difficult. It can be difficult
and sometimes challenging.
You know, I just decided, okay, Father, I'll let it go. I made the attempt.
As long as you made the attempt, if it didn't go through, maybe it wasn't the right time, but maybe it will come to a point whereby the moment the people maybe might be looking for you for the same proposal. So for the person who is watching this video, coming from the state, would you advise them, maybe if they have cars, they have properties, or they have businesses, and they really want to come and settle here, and maybe for good or maybe for a certain period of time, would you advise them to sell or abandon their properties, or sell them and get over here and settle here and do business here, or you want them to keep it back as a security?
No, see, for me, you're asking like the wrong or the right person depending on the audience, because somebody else will say something different. I'm a firm believer in what the word says: sell all your possessions and come and follow me. And if God is leading you here, then sell all your possessions and follow him here, and take the proceeds and figure out how to budget and how to use it to invest here. Particularly, I would say buy some land where you can build a home, save about a third of it, and then use the other third to live off of until that home is built.
Wow. So what are some of the businesses that maybe you have been able to do here apart from consultation?
So like I said, there's sales commissions on the back end. So when you partner with different companies, you help them find clients from abroad. You can negotiate agreements for, okay, I'll take this much commission if I secure this sale. You know, for you, for the company. And then obviously you have the more ambitious approach, like if you're advantageous to try to make money online with social media, but you can also do remote work. So if you have a remote job in the US and you know how to work a VPN, that's another way to do it. But if you do that, maybe you should try to secure that work in the US. Get past the interview stage, and then come here.
And you can work from here as a digital nomad.
It's it's a 7-hour difference if you're on the East Coast versus being in Kenya, and then 8 hours in Chicago. I think in Iowa, or maybe past Iowa, like Montana. Then you're talking 9 hours. California, 10. So keep that in mind. But it's gonna be on you, man. I like I said, I'm the one who likes to just jump off the deep end. Please don't do what you don't have the grace to do. But this is when you have to really. This is when your faith is going to be tried. I think from my experiences, God will work with you in any situation. He knows
work with what
particular circumstance. But it's not gonna be. He does it all like a miracle, and you do absolutely nothing. You don't even make it a move, an attempt. You don't even, you know what I'm saying? You just sit there and you wait for something to happen. That doesn't work.
You have to,
you have to apply yourself.
Yes.
And like I said, I would say, budget. Don't don't come here living like a Westerner. Don't try to come in and stay in Westlands thinking that because it's $1,000 a month versus $1,700 that you're saving money. No. Come here and live. You pay $300 a month. And buy or rent some furniture, and don't let your total monthly cost for living exceed $1,000, including everything, groceries, everything, transportation. You budget that kind of stuff, and you make sure you have a large amount of money, a fraction, I would say, of money that after you sell all your things, that you set aside and you pretend that doesn't exist. Just let it sit there, and then you work with that other 2/3 as if that's all you have. And then you take, you cut it up and you fraction it for how much is it going to cost. Like I said, I would be doing getting the land, how much is it going to cost for construction on the land, and then how much is it going to cost for rent, and how much for food, until I build up some more income, unless I'm already making money off of other things like rental properties, remote work, or I have a plan for when I come here and what business I'm going to do. That's what I would say.
Wow. So at least, people will interpret that statement in a different perspective. Others will be like, okay, I'll go with selling everything, but others will be like, okay, let me leave something as a security if it doesn't work from this side of the world. So how would you compare luxury living here in Kenya than back in the States?
It's maybe not as pristine and refined in some aspects. I went to see an apartment with somebody who he does property management here. He's Kenyan. He wanted to show me some of the stuff that he was trying to draw clients to, like just whether they're coming abroad or they're here. He makes money for sending this apartment, tenants essentially. We saw 3. We saw 2, but then I would consider the third one we couldn't go into. That would probably be the third tier.
Yes.
And those 3 tiers, one was high end, I would say, and this was in Kilauea. Then you had the second, which was in Kilimani. That was more like mid tier. And then I would say low tier, or just more affordable. Because I wouldn't consider low tier, but the least expensive option was out in Kenyon County, right? The high end will be considered like middle ground, $200,000 US dollar apartment.
A month?
No, $200,000. Like if you wanted to buy it a month, probably a couple thousand, $1,500 to a couple thousand, depending on if you have it furnished by the establishment.
By the establishment, yes.
That was the first tier, and that was something I told them, for my clients, I don't think that's attractive, because again, they're not necessarily coming to live this type of fly life. They want to come to live out in the country, build their own home, live simply. They're older. They've been there, done that in the U.S.
Yes.
The mid tier was something more along the lines of you could come and you could get something small, maybe for $100,000, maybe for $80,000, depending on the square footage and the number of bathrooms, 1 to 2, maybe 2 bedrooms. It fluctuates. That was a little less impressive. They didn't have as many amenities like pools and gyms and all that kind of stuff. But that will be something maybe you pay between $600 and $900 a month. I'm guesstimating. I don't have my phone on my notes.
Yeah, that is an estimate.
Then, like I said, on the other side, where you go to a place and you still got to get a cooker or a stove or a refrigerator. You see something that's more in the ballpark of $300 or less, and that's when you go into Ruaka. That's when you go into other places like that, and that's where I say you should go. I would say go do that route, and if you feel like you need to elevate your standard, work your way up, but experience this place, get integrated. The people are nice here. I don't, just because things don't look like what you're used to in the more developed parts of the world, in terms of you've got nice sidewalks and less stuff on the sides of the streets vending fresh food. At least the food is fresh. To be honest with you, I had an orange and I bit into this orange, got outside the road, and it was like biting cake. It was like biting a piece of cake. And it was so good. And I said, you can't find this anywhere. Maybe a Whole Foods, maybe, but you're paying a premium for it. That thing was probably less than 20 cents. In US dollars. And then I had grapes. They were like black and they were sour, and I would eat them, and the size of a black pepper seed was in each grape, and it was so good. He was pushing them in a wheelbarrow. Now, am I gonna dismiss the guy because he's pushing the best fruit I could ever eat in a wheelbarrow? And I mean, versus going to Kroger and getting some expired food that came from Mexico. And that's what I'm saying. You have to be willing to make some trade-offs. And when my clients, when I talk to them about the best way to come here and to get started here. I'm not pitching them you could live in Kilauea, it's just like back home. I'm not pitching to them you could live in Kilimani, it's a little more affordable, but it's just like back home. I'm saying, hey, you could come here and live like a local and save a lot of money, and you could take that extra money and invest in something that'll last you long term, so you don't have to go home so soon.
Yeah. You know, when you mentioned about food, there is a certain guy who I was having a sit down with.
Yeah.
And he's around 70 years old. And he told me that when he came here, he used to take, I think he had something to do with high blood pressure or diabetes or something. I can't remember the actual. But when he told me that food here is medicine. That's the one thing that he told me, like he stopped taking his medicine just because of consuming fresh
testimony
food.
I work out. I will work out every other, I wouldn't work out on the Sabbath, but 6 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week, I will work out. And I took care of my body. But I would go to work at a desk, remote job, and after eating lunch, I would feel like I'm about to fall asleep and crash. And I would feel bad taking 15-minute breaks, going and sleeping in my bed or on my couch, and then getting up and running back to my desk because I thought like, oh, I'm lazy. But I'm like, no, I know I take care of myself. I don't have the strength and the energy because this environment is not conducive to my health. The doctor that put me on a statin when I had high cholesterol the first one had never advised me maybe it's the food you're eating or your lifestyle. He just prescribed me to a drug like a drug dealer. And to me, I just thought there's got to be something else. So I kicked the statins before even leaving the States, and I just, like I said, I pressed into exercise, and I would just find the most affordable, closest to organic food I could eat. So I'm eating at Chipotle every other day unless I'm cooking, like stuff that I would get from Costco in bulk. Still not the most organic, but it was better than, like I said, the more fast food. Yes. And the truth is, I was able to sustain. My skin would still break out a little bit. I would still feel tired, but it wasn't as bad as the extreme of what I was going through. But when I got over here, I started eating beef again. I started eating goat for the first time. I ate the fruits and the vegetables, and instead of making me sleepy, they actually gave me strength to be energetic and to continue in my day. I would look up and down the streets at people. I don't care what neighborhood you're in, what class of people they are. I don't see obesity. It's rare to see somebody who has a beer belly and is all up in here with the fat. It's rare to see that. In America, that's about half of what you see.
Population.
All right. I said, man, if some of the ladies here and some of the men here were to leave and go there and just walk up and down the street, I think they will make it because somebody would be trying to let them live with them and keep them company just because of how attractive they are. Beautiful, healthy, radiant skin and nice. You can see the veins and definitions in their bodies. And this is minimal exercise except walking.
Just walking
and carrying things.
And proper diet of good food.
And good food because it's the difference. And food is life. That's what I'm saying. You wait for the next recession or war or collapse, and these these bags, all this fancy living, that stuff is gonna be so subsidiary, secondary, non-existent. People are gonna be looking for food. This place is where they're gonna be looking for food. I mean, because obviously, like I said, food access here is very easy. It's abundant. It's a completely different landscape. And when you subtract that desire for the world, and the things of the world, and you get back down to the simplicity of things, I don't see how any so-called Western or developed nation can match up to this place. So
say that again. Say that again.
The world can't compete with this place or even this continent. All right. If they wouldn't care about the governments here, or the people here, which I don't think they do anyway, if this place wasn't so rich in resources. Okay? We're not like fighting to get resources from Israel or Palestine. There's nothing there. People all over the world, like in the US, are having summits and inviting African leaders to their countries, talking about they're trying to have these agreements formed. Even the Russians in Burkina Faso, they're trying to have all of these different alliances formed with African countries Not because they give a damn about you.
They don't.
But they want what you have
They want
here.
what we have.
And that's why I say they can't afford for this place to plummet. They don't care about the people, but they know this continent, this land, this mass here, this has to be preserved because we got to get our copper, our oil, our aluminum, our gold, our diamonds, etc., our tea, our coffee. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how they're thinking. And they know they have to reason with these black people and these Africans if they want to get what they want. But the time's coming when they're not going to have anything to offer because that dollar isn't going to be worth a thing in the trade for the tea, the gold.
Of course.
You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So, again, how do you see it? How do you see it? I personally don't advise trying to get where the world is going. I think the world's going to hell in a handbasket. I think you should try to get away from the world like you said. Come back. Come this way.
That guy also told me the same statement. I was like, yo, that's why I've busted into love because I have heard this statement over and over and over again. So how would you convince a young African American who has never been to Africa, and he or she was born in the America, but there is a continental, he should reconnect with their true identity? I mean, like, if
I would say take a trip. I mean, honestly, like I said, I had more of an urgency. I'm not gonna fear factor you. You gotta get out of tomorrow. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just saying, okay, if your job will allow you to get a day off, save the days until you get 5 days, and take a trip.
Take a trip.
Take a little
come and learn. Come and get to see
2 weeks. Take a trip and come and just experience it, and then go home and tell me how you feel after a week when you're back.
Yeah.
Are you missing this place, or are you glad you made it back home?
Wow. Yeah. So, what would you wish to be known before someone coming here to the continent?
It's not. Just don't come in here with an American mentality.
I've been waiting for that.
Don't come here like that. I mean, to be honest, even me, like I went through a lot of humbling experiences, and like I said, I live by my faith. I didn't come in here thinking about all the women I could smash. That's ridiculous to me.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
And that to me is like that's the problem with a lot of what I see. The mentality of some young people coming over here. Instead of thinking about how can I uplift these people. I have clout, I have leverage, I come from America, that's attractive. How can I enlighten and inform and uplift these people so that they're doing better? Not how can I take advantage of the situation to satisfy my desire.
Your desires.
And the quick thrills. I respect every person. I'm not taking shots at any person. You know what I'm saying? Just be humble and come over here and try to learn and connect with the people. They're good people. All that matters at the end of the day are the relationships you form, not the things that you get in this life. Material.
Because I have seen that happening to some other African Americans who are coming here and trying to say, oh, I'm here to save you, I'm here to do all kind of things. And I was like, why should you even sit down and open your camera and talk about that? That is something that is unethical at some point, I would say so.
I think that's the other extreme. I think the one extreme is I'm here to exploit and take advantage of you. In whatever way that manifests. And the other thing is thinking that this is, I don't want to say this. I was gonna say, you ever seen the movies where they it's like a parody. They'll have like a white person, they'll go to some poor neighborhood. Oh, look at the little hungry children. Like that. That's the other extreme.
That's the other extreme.
Don't do either. Just like I said, come and learn.
Just try to see the good part or the good thing that you can be able to sell to
these people have helped me. I mean, I've been in positions to be helpful, so I'm not saying but I'm just saying these people have been helpful to me in ways that go way past $1. You understand? It doesn't always boil down to something tangible. What makes this place rich is the spirit of the people.
The spirit of the people.
Yeah.
Because there is this one thing that people be like, okay, we are going to Africa for a safari, but the moment they get here and they get to interact with the people, they even forget about, oh, we were supposed to be here for a safari. They end up indulging into the community and also getting to learn the culture and the food and everything like that.
Yeah.
So as we wind up this episode, what advice would you want to give to people back in America and here and the society at large?
I think I said this in that other interview. I said read the room.
Yeah.
Read the room. I think. What advice would I want to give to those coming?
Yeah.
And who else? Those here?
Those are here and the world in general.
That things are moving and you have to try to see where things are moving. Like I said, when I say read the room, what I'm really saying is
get to understand how things are flowing.
Yeah, because things are not flowing. Things are not flowing westward. They're flowing east. They're coming this way.
They're coming this way.
They're coming this way. I would get ahead of the tide and plant my feet. But again, the one thing I don't advise is to do anything out of an anxious spirit. I don't advise to do anything without preparing. Don't think it's gonna be easy, even if you do have peace and calm and you are as prepared as you can be. Financially, you're planning. Mentally, you're saying I'm ready to adjust. Spiritually, you say I'm ready to connect. It's gonna be a step-by-step, day-by-day process, but it's something that you can do. I believe the only way you can do it, though, personally, this is not me telling everybody you have to believe the way I believe, is with the Most High out. He's the only one who's going to guide you. He's the only one that's going to give you the answers when you need them. You have to be in touch and have a relationship with Him through Yahushua, through Jesus Christ, and He's going to be the one who's going to make this happen for you. Because, like I said, I'm learning as I go. I'm not an expert. I've been fortunate enough to be able to get through a lot of the stuff that may send people home. And I'm going to continue to stay faithful to the thing I envisioned, which is the finished property. And then also helping other people. Because if I really didn't care and I was just here to exploit, what I would have done, not to say this is exploitative, but I'm saying this would have been the more selfish route to take. I would have gotten a remote job, did the VPN thing, and focused on making money that way, and living on my days doing what I wanted. But I chose, instead of going that route and going back into that same encapsulation of slavery to me, I said no, I'm gonna do my best to do sales and to do consultations to help other people want to get over here who I know will have a very difficult time because they may not have the same resolve as me to get over here. Wow. That was my mentality. I said, and that can be something that will help me stay here, but it'll also be fulfilling and it'll help others get here. So all those things can become one thing.
One thing, yes.
Yeah. And I'm not living some detached life, trying to live life at the same time. You know, working for some corporation overseas and then want to leave my apartment at 10 o'clock at night when I clock out to hang out.
To hang out and or do other things.
And by hang out, like I said, because I don't hang out, by seeing if the butchery is still open. Hey, are y'all serving? I just got off work. Where do you work? I work for Citibank.
I work for Citibank. So tell people where they can find you if they really want to if they need your services. Where can they get you? Yeah,
you can book a consultation at Elway, ELWAY.as.me, or you can, like I said, follow along on my YouTube channel, which is at Back to Zion or Elway. Small channel. I use that to share information. I'm not a social media guy, but I use it to share this information, like I said.
Yes.
But again, if you want to do a consultation, what I'll do is obviously I'll talk to you for the set amount of time, but it'll lead into more conversations as long as the time is available for me to talk. I'm not gonna talk to you once and then not be available for you. It's more like advising you. You make a decision, or you've already made a decision. I'm advising, and then I'm just gonna be available for you as you make the process. As you make the transition over, like through the process, essentially. Because like I said, my clients tonight, I talked to them. I had a consultation, but I'm gonna be getting them from the airport. I'm gonna be spending time with them, helping them get SIM cards, Safaricom. Get them versed with M-Pesa, get them versed with M-Pesa Global, so they can use a card.
The necessities.
Get them. I already got them in an apartment. I secured them an apartment, so they'll be moving into an apartment when they come instead of here at an Airbnb. But I know some people who come, like another client, she's gonna come and stay temporarily and then go back to the other country where she's staying, which is next door. Okay, so I wouldn't have to go through as much in terms of getting her apartment, but I would still be making sure she's well accommodated. And then when I take her to see the land, that she sees, you know, all that there is available through who I'm working with, and you know, whatever she wants will help her secure that in the right way. So the consultations, the initial consultation, most likely, like I said, if you're a serious client, is not going to be the last conversation that we'll have. But you can book one, and then we can talk, and then we can just go from there. Like I said, I like having relationships with the people I'm dealing with.
Of course.
So it's not going to be one of those cold things where you just spend some money, I tell you some stuff, and then you never hear from me again.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I experienced at one point. Yeah.
Wow. It has been a pleasure having you and sharing a lot of things. When I sit down and get to listen to everything that we have talked about, if you have gotten something about relocating to Kenya, if you are African American, this is an episode that you are not supposed to miss out, because it has been enlightening.
Yeah.
I have gotten to know some few stuffs maybe I didn't know. So I will leave his contact down in the description below, and like the video, comment, and tell me if you want to see a second episode with my guy here, Elvin. So have a good time and enjoy your evening, your afternoon, or your morning.
Shalom and blessings. Take care of yourselves.
Thank you and welcome to COSISTED. My name is Eda. Welcome to COSISTED, serene, cozy home away from home.
Be around and get to show me what you offer in here.
Okay.
Yes.
Welcome to COSISTED. This is our lounge, common sitting area. This is our in-house dining session. I'll show you some of our rooms.
Yeah.
This is our king suite.
Wow, this is nice.
It has a balcony, spacious door. It has a study area with a huge dressing mirror and a bathroom in the back.
Oh wow. Washa. Nice. So this is your master suite, right?
Yes. Okay.
So where can people find? Give us your social media handles.
People can find us through our website www.cosisted.co.ke. You can also email us at info@cosisted.co.ke. You can also call us or WhatsApp us at 0799572828.
Nice one.